Juan Soto officially signed with the Mets. It is a 15-year deal for $765 million. No deferments. It is not only the longest contract in MLB history, but also the most money and I believe the highest AAV of any contract in MLB history. I guess if we've been paying attention, that is par for the course, but it's still shocking to think about. Good for the Mets. Happy for them. Happy for their fans. Happy for Soto that he became the highest paid baseball player in history and maybe the highest paid player in American sports ever. As a Yankees fan, it's a tough day. It's a rough day for Yankees fans. It's a great day to be a Mets fan. It's kind of a wild situation, you know? It's not every day that the Yankees lose a player to the Mets, but it's a new era, you know? Cohen said that he was willing to spend more than any other team was willing to spend, and he proved that today. And the Yankees offered $5 million less, but they offered an additional year. So that took the AAV to $47.5 million for the Yankees. And the Mets have an AAV of $51 million. We knew Soto was looking for the biggest deal. We also knew he was looking to go to a contender, and you can't say the Mets aren't contenders. They were obviously in the NLCS last year. They went toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. They kind of got crushed, but every team kind of got crushed by the Dodgers, so not anything unexpected. And Cohen has proven that he is willing to spend the money and do whatever it takes to field a competitive team. The Mets are going to have to make a lot more deals, but I feel like this is just the first domino. If you go after Soto and you pay him that much money, they're going to end up signing basically whoever they want if they can. Think that they're going to be going after a couple starting pitchers. I don't know who. I don't know what they're going to do about pitching, but I'm hoping that it's not certain pitchers that we're going to talk about, because this video is about what are the Yankees going to do now. There's still some pitchers out there on the market that are really, really good arms. And if Cohen's willing to open up his, his purse again, his checkbook, they're going to field a good team. Let's talk about what's bad about this deal for the Yankees. Almost everything. It's tough to lose probably the second or third best hitter in the league, maybe even the best hitter in the league. I don't know. You don't love to see that. It's tough to lose such an incredible player. And it's worse because they only had him for 1 year. You know, they traded a big time package for Juan Soto last year. They shipped out Michael King, who is obviously a fucking animal and an amazing pitcher. That's something that the Yankees need right now, you know? They also shipped out some prospects in the deal and Kyle Higashioka. Hickey ended up going to I forgot where he went, but he went to a different team. He did not re-sign with the Padres. He went to the Rangers. That's where he went. That probably just means that the Yankees wouldn't have re-signed him either. So no big deal, no real skin lost in the game there. But losing Michael King is a huge loss for the Yankees, especially for only 1 year Soto. You don't want to trade real pieces for a guy that you're going to lose in a year. So that's one huge negative. The other negatives are pretty obvious. You're losing a generational talent, a 26-year-old generational talent. You're losing one of the best bats in the league. You are losing a guy that took you to the World Series. I know he wasn't the only one, but he was a little bit the only one. Like him and Stanton, nobody else was really performing for the Yankees. It was a down year for the AL, so you could also use that as an excuse. But realistically, Soto was the biggest difference maker in getting the Yankees to the World Series. Now, here's the thing. I'm pretty okay with this. All in all, it's kind of weird to say, but I am okay with this, with them losing Soto. The reason being that, like, what can you do? What can you do? You know, the Yankees offered him a fuck ton of money. They offered him $760 million. It's not like they weren't in the hunt for Soto. It's not like the Bryce Harper deal that they never even offered Harper anything. They never even set up a meeting with him. They did all that they could to get Soto, but Cohen was, selling him the world, and Soto bought in. And also Cohen made him undoubtedly the most paid athlete in baseball. It is what it is. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just still in denial. Maybe I'm just coping. If you're the Yankees, you can only do so much. They offered a good deal to him, and he decided not to take it. I also think there's a good chance that Cohen just, outbid the Yankees at some point. Then the Yankees countered and offered Soto what he wanted. Then Cohen just outbid him again. Steve Cohen's the richest guy in baseball. So when he wants his man, you can't really battle him on that. There are some benefits about this for the Yankees. Okay. Number one, they don't have to pay $800 million over the course of the next 15 years. That's great for them. I guess that frees up money. Obviously, you never know what's going to happen with Soto. The problem with Soto is that he's a two-tool player. He can hit and he has power. He doesn't have the defense. He doesn't have the arm. And he doesn't have the speed. However, he does have hitting better than anybody else, and power just about on par with everybody not named Aaron Judge. He deserves the money. He got paid the money for a reason. But this could be a good thing for the Yankees. I think that an $800 million contract over the course of the next 15 years would be really detrimental to this team. And I don't think that it would be detrimental to the Mets. Obviously, Cohen is way richer and way more willing to spend that type of money. And I don't think that he would let this contract sort of handcuff the Mets. I think the Yankees would. I think the Yankees would get fucked over by having this long ass contract, this big ass contract. And who knows, it could mess up with the Mets as well. But realistically, it's far more likely to be a failure for the Yankees organization than it is for the Mets. This gives the Yankees an opportunity to sort of fix their defense. Their defense has been god awful. We all saw that in the World Series, and Soto wouldn't have helped that. Having Soto and Judge on long-term contracts, it would have really hurt the Yankees defensively for quite a few years. I'm kind of coping with that in a sense, but basically, the Yankees already have Stanton, who's their DH. He can't play the field anymore. He's too hurt. He's too broken. Judge, in a few years, is going to end up as a first baseman, I would assume. So where does that leave Soto, who really doesn't play the field very well? He was decent last year. He wasn't terrible defensively. It was kind of his best defensive year, and he wasn't great. Eventually, Soto is going to end up becoming a first baseman or a DH or something like that. If we have three players like that on long-term contracts, I mean, Stan's contract will be over sooner than later, but I don't know. It just doesn't, it's not the greatest thing when you lost a World Series Game 5. Because your defense fell the fuck apart. So I guess that's like a benefit. The Yankees can now kind of work on their defense. They don't have to pay this big contract. They free up some money. But what are the Yankees going to do now in order to continue to compete? What are they going to do in order to be good? And the simple answer is they might not be able to. I guess it's not a simple answer. It is a possibility, though. And that's going to be really scary for Yankees fans to hear. I am a Yankees fan. It's really scary for me to say it. The year before this year, last year, that's the normal way to say that, the Yankees didn't even make the playoffs. They couldn't even make the wild card. Soto comes around this year. He's their biggest major change. And suddenly they're in the World Series. That's a big player to lose. And what are they going to sign? There's not that many great free agents out there that can make a difference. Will the Yankees still compete for a playoff spot? I think yes. I think there's still going to be a very good chance. They're going to have to acquire some players, though. Number one on my list, acquire Bellinger. If you can acquire Bellinger for like a sort of a lowball deal, that would be a great acquisition. This is a former MVP. He's a lefty bat. He can play center field. He could play outfield. He could play left field. Okay, now that Soto's gone, I want Judge back and right. I need a real legitimate center fielder out there. And Belly can sort of be that. I know Belly's normally a right fielder. He has the speed to play center. He's played it in the past. I think he's more suited for left field. So they're going to have to figure out how to fill in center field. But that might be a problem for a future year. Because if you can get Belly this year and just play him in center for a year, I think that's an okay solution. And then figure out what's out there on the market next year, or figure out, who's trying to trade a center fielder or whatever. But here's the thing that I don't hear a lot about. The Cubs are clearly selling. If we can get Bellinger on a lowball deal, why don't we also go after Nico Hoerner? That is something that the Yankees really, really need, is a second baseman. And they also need somebody who can consistently get on base ahead of Judge, ahead of Stanton, I guess ahead of Belly in this scenario. I think that's really, really nice. I think that I haven't heard too many rumors about Nico. A friend of mine just sent me an article saying that Seattle was close to getting Nico. If you're going to acquire Belly for cheap, throw in a better prospect and get yourself Nico Hoerner. Throw in Spencer Jones and another package of like second, third tier prospects. Throw in Stroman, throw in some extra money. Maybe have the Cubs hold some of Belly's salary, like 10%, something like that. Now all of a sudden we're kind of cooking. We get ourselves a center fielder. You get yourself a second baseman who's really nice. The Yankees are losing Glaber, and they don't want to re-sign him. They have no interest. And I don't think they should have an interest. I think they should just let Glaber go. We need to replace that player with somebody better. And Nico Hoerner is better. There's no doubt about it. Nico Hoerner is an all-star. He is a fantastic hitter. And he can play decent defense. And by decent, I mean Nico Hoerner's a really good defender as far as I remember. I know a lot of people are expecting that Jazz would actually be the second baseman this year. And that's a good option. Like Jazz at second would be fine. Getting Nico frees up the options around Jazz, right? We could put him in the outfield, which we are probably going to need at least one outfielder. If he can be a center fielder, that's even better. Or we can just leave him on third. He's learning third base. He's doing pretty well. With Nico Hoerner, who's a locked-in second baseman with good defense and good hitting, you now have the options to use Jazz as a utility guy, or use Jazz as your starting third baseman, your starting center fielder, something like that. That's a guy that I would really pursue if I was the Yankees. Pay a more premium price than you would normally just for Belly and get both of them if you can. Because the only other option out there for like middle infield is, I don't know, Jorge Polanco. And Polanco would be a nice signing because he'll be cheap, but he's not a high impact move. Maybe he turns things around over here, but you can probably just sign Jorge Polanco anyway after you make this deal. And I kind of recommend it. I like that. I like that signing. I like that idea because he could play backup infielder. He could play pretty much second, short, and third. He's not necessarily going to be a great defender at any of those positions, but probably not worse than what the fucking Yankees are doing this season, Number two thing that the Yankees really, really need to do in this situation, in my opinion, go out there and get fucking Max Fried right the fuck away. Okay, they had a good meeting with Max Fried. As far as I know, they did not offer him a contract. They were just waiting for the Soto sweepstakes to die down, to end rather. Max Fried is a golden fucking opportunity for the Yankees to really shore up their starting rotation. You put Max Fried in there, now all of a sudden you've got an ace backing up an ace. Because make no fucking doubt about it, Max Fried is an ace in this league. Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, Luis Gil. That's a pretty fucking good rotation. You ship Stroman off, you ship Nestor off, get rid of them, get them the fuck off the team. Maybe sign even another starter if you really want to. Somebody who's going to be a reasonable price, maybe a little bit older. The Yankees are going to have to call up people like Caleb Durbin. Caleb Durbin is a guy that's major league ready. He's a nice prospect. He's got really good numbers in the minors, and maybe he ends up playing second base if they can't acquire Nico. There's no rumors surrounding the Yankees getting Nico. It's just something that I feel like they should go after. I feel like he would be the perfect fit here. There's a chance that never comes to fruition. So Caleb Durbin is going to be called up next year. You get a chance to see what Jason Dominguez is really made of. If you trade Spencer Jones in a potential Belly Nico trade, then you're sticking with Jason Dominguez, switch hitting minor league superstar with a ton of potential. And we know his defensive metrics are really bad. But hey, let's take the 23-year-old or 24-year-old, whatever the fuck he is. Let's teach him defense. Okay, this guy's got the speed to make the impact. He's got a bat that could potentially make an impact. Let's make that happen. The Yankees are still going to have to acquire more people, but I think that the first steps that they got to do, sign Max Fried and trade for Belly, okay? And potentially Nico if you could get him, because you need to shore up that defense in the middle infield. It would be really nice. Do not, okay? Please, Brian Cashman, do not fucking sign Pete fucking Alonso, because I feel like that is a real Yankees move. And I feel like that is a fucking awful decision. Judge will eventually be the first baseman, or Belly could play first base or whatever. Don't sign Pete Alonso. Sign Christian Walker to a lower amount of years. You know, sign him to a 3-year deal, a 2-year deal, whatever it is. Yeah, he's a right-handed hitter, Christian Walker, so that does kind of hurt. But Pete Alonso is also right-handed. Signing Pete Alonso to like an 8-year deal feels like a Yankees type of move, and it feels like a fucking awful decision. So I really just don't want to see that happen. That seems like one of the worst nightmares. You know, you lose Soto, and instead you go and you sign fucking Pete Alonso, who can't play defense at first. He hits bombs, sure. It'll be fun. He's not the answer, man. He's not the answer to any of the Yankees questions. So I'm really, really hoping that doesn't happen. That's just where I'm at with the Yankees. It's really disappointing to lose Soto. There are some good things that come out of it, but the Yankees have to make a big splash. They have to do a lot of things here. They're going to have to fill up their roster, man. They're in tough shape. Acquire Belly, Nico, sign Max Fried, sign Polanco, call up some of these minor league prospects that are major league ready, and let's see what we can do. But there's a very good chance that the Yankees are not a playoff team. And it's scary, scary, scary to think about. Soto leaving it leaves a big hole on the team. It is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach 500 subs by the end of the year, and you can help out. I appreciate you big time. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.